Here is a Diana Model 22 air rifle, well used, doesn't shoot that good anymore, in fact barely pushes out the pellet. So to begin with, this video will cover an upgrade to use O-ring seals on the piston rather than the original leather one. See, this one is quite old, used quite a bunch. Trigger guard is crispy. I really like using bits on slotted screws. They're parallel, they're cheap, and they don't mush up the head. Now, the rear one here is a wood screw going to the stock. The front one is holding the barrel into the stock as well. Gave me a little bit of trouble, but patience is key. You can see on the thread there's some shiny spots. That's what gave me trouble. But it could be worse. There's one screw acting as the hinge for the barrel. No bushing. This is a cheap rifle, but it works well as a blinker, or worked well as a blinker. The connecting rod has a square peg in a round hole situation. Little concussive maintenance. Gets the sleeve out. The sleeve has a little lug, locks it into the tube frame, and the pin in the back, which also holds the trigger, locks it from rotating. Trigger is an interesting piece. It's 3 pieces of stamped sheet steel to act as a sear surface with bent thin sheet as a trigger. Taking out the original piston, the leather is completely dry. But first I'll measure the total length, so I know how long to make the replacement head. The roundness in the back was a ½ millimeter on round, but measuring in the front, just behind the sealing head, came out to 22 millimeters, or just shy, 21.8, about there. So mean measure should be 22. I'll check the bore as well. Measure the difference in total length, and since I'm not an engineer, I'll just go on a website and input the bore diameter, which isn't here, so I'll use 25 minus 3 millimeter to get my tolerances and measures. Groove diameter and groove width are the most important here, and just shoot for the nominal measure. Turning is fun in plastic, small cuts, and take your time. Turns out pretty good. Deburr it. Cut a O-ring groove. Now the way I do it is loosely based on how a CNC machine does it. Start in the middle, then go to one end, make sure the distance from the end of the part to the start of the groove is okay, and then make the groove as wide as it needs to be. Patience is key. And then countersink the hole, make sure the screw is below the main surface, and voila, just part it off. Small part, does a big job. Double check the overall length, and get some silicone grease, little dab will do you. Clean out the bore, of course, make sure there are no burrs that could cut the O-ring, and gently press it in. This patent number 5,000,002 jig is a long C-clamp with a piece of steel that's 22 millimeters to help me reach into the bore, and a whole bunch of patience. Also make sure to measure how far the screw actually can go in before starting to screw it. Lock it in place. I did put the pin in all my excitement, Trigger also has to go up on there, so do that off camera. Trigger spring is housed on that little notch in the end cap, and then just reassemble everything. The entirety of 5 screws. Neat simple rifle, and ended up shooting quite well post upgrade.